In all likelihood, Iowa State is probably going to struggle this season. That's what happens when you lose 4 All-Big 12 starters, one of whom was All-American point guard and second-round NBA draft pick Monty Morris. The Cyclones did bring in 3 graduate transfers and have a potential star in freshman point guard Lyndall Wigginton, but conventional wisdom doesn't support Iowa State ending its consecutive NCAA tournament streak to 7 with that kind of roster turnover. So, really, it's about the future, both immediate and long-term, for the Cyclones. Especially for coach Steve Prohm, who has taken Iowa State to a Sweet 16 and won a Big 12 tournament in his 2 years in Ames, but did so largely with players recruited by former coach Fred Hoiberg, now of the Chicago Bulls. That future that Prohm is trying to secure looks increasingly bright for Iowa State, no more so than after the commitment Thursday from 4-star guard talent Horton-Tucker. Horton-Tucker is a 6'5", 4-star prospect that gives Prohm and Iowa State a 4-player 2018 recruiting class that consists solely of top 150 players. Horton-Tucker also represents a growing trend for Iowa State of having success in the talent-rich Chicago area. Iowa State previously hadn't gotten a commitment from a Windy City recruit since 2009, but Horton-Tucker is the third 2018 pledge to Iowa State from the city, joining 6'10" center George Condit and 6'6" wing Zion Griffin. Together they make up 3 of the consensus top 5 players in Illinois in their class. Point guard Tyrese Halliburton of Wisconsin is the 4th member of the class. Iowa State has never been a recruiting heavyweight. Marcus Fizer is their lone McDonald's All-American, and even when Hoiberg was calling the shots, the Cyclones never secured a commitment from a top 50 recruit. Now under Prohm, ISU got Wigginton, top 25 in 2017, and Horton-Tucker, who had offers from Kansas and Michigan State and is just outside the top 50 in the 2018. Griffin also had an offer from the Jayhawks, the Cyclones' chief Big 12 rival who has won 13 straight conference titles. This 2018 class is inarguably a coup for Prohm & Co. This season may be difficult at times for Iowa State, but Prohm's recruiting classes appear to be ensuring that whatever dip the Cyclones may take won't be deep or lasting. Ann Arbor, Michigan. AP, John Beilein is prepared for some growing pains this season. "I hope I'm not being a Debbie Downer here with this thing," the Michigan coach said. "Our early schedule, we're going to be hit with stuff." The Wolverines learned firsthand in 201,617 how quickly a team's struggles can be forgotten if they play their best basketball at the end of the season. A February push turned into a Big Ten tournament title in March, and then finally an NCAA Sweet 16 appearance. It was an important run for Beilein's program, which was coming off a couple uninspiring seasons and needed to capitalize while Derek Walton was a senior. Now Walton, Zach Irvin and DJ Wilson must be replaced, and although Michigan isn't exactly in a rebuilding mode, a new-look lineup may need some time to develop the necessary chemistry. Mo Wagner, Michigan's versatile big man, decided to pass on the NBA and come back to the Wolverines. He'll be an obvious focal point after averaging 12.1 points a game and shooting 56% from the field last season. "I hate when people say, I added this to my game this summer," Wagner said. "I always work on everything, try to improve in every part of the game, try to be as versatile as possible. Obviously, the passing thing is something that I focused on, because I'm aware that it's going to be a little different this year." Wagner, who had only 20 assists last season, will probably receive more attention from opposing teams, and staying out of foul trouble at the defensive end will be important for him. Here are a few more things to watch at Michigan this season. Transfers guards Jaren Simmons and Charles Matthews are expected to play significant roles. Simmons is a graduate transfer from Ohio, and Matthews transferred from Kentucky. Simmons averaged 17.2 points last season while playing for one of the top teams in the Mid-American Conference, and his arrival could help alleviate the loss of Walton in the backcourt. Early challenges. Michigan heads to Hawaii in November for a tournament that includes LSU, Notre Dame and Wichita State. Not long after returning from that event, the Wolverines travel to North Carolina to take on the defending national champions in the AC Big Ten Challenge. Then the conference season starts in early December with games against Indiana and Ohio State, followed by a return to non-conference play against UCLA and Texas. I can't imagine a tougher Michigan schedule ever than we have right now. I think when we got here 10 years ago, we were playing an average of 18 or 19 BCS games, Beilein said. This is like 24 or 25 BCS games, and we've got 5 in a row, and depending on what happens in Maui, we're going to have 7 or 8 done before Christmas. Beyond the arc as usual, Michigan figures to rely heavily on the three-point shot. Duncan Robinson is back after shooting 42% from a long range in 201,617, while Wagner and Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman are capable outside shooters. Defense Beeline added assistant Billy Donlin to his staff last season and put him in charge of the team's defense, which has long been an issue. Michigan did make some strides in that area, but then Donlin left to join Northwestern's staff. The Wolverines will try to keep making progress at the defensive end without him. Youth Xavier Simpson, who averaged 8.7 minutes a game backing up Walton last season, now has some experience under his belt, and he probably still won't be under too much pressure with Simmons in the fold. Freshman guard Eli Brooks could also be a factor after averaging 29.7 points as a high school senior. At least 3 of the defendants in the FBI's probe into bribery and corruption in college basketball are discussing taking a deal with prosecutors, according to the LA Times. The paper obtained documents filed with the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York that stated that a 12-week continuance has been granted for Christian Dawkins, Manish Sood and Jonathan Brad Augustine as they have been engaged in, and are continuing, discussions concerning a possible disposition of these cases. Dawkins' lawyer, Steve Haney, told NBC Sports that the continuance had nothing to do with his client negotiating a plea deal. Though the continuance was anticipated, the suggestion it is based on my client's cooperation with the federal government is patently false, Haney told NBC Sports. Christian Dawkins is not talking. He has no reason to talk and will aggressively fight the allegations. Dawkins was a runner, a recruiter for an agent, essentially, that had been associated with Andy Miller's agency. Sood was the financial advisor that Dawkins had allegedly partnered with to fund an operation that, again, allegedly, bribed college basketball coaches in an effort to get them to funnel the players under their control to that financial advisor. Augustine is an AAU coach in Florida who attempted to help facilitate payments to 2 recruits that have yet to reach college. Since the FBI dropped the bombshell last month that 4 assistant coaches were among the 10 people that had been arrested, the case has gone somewhat quiet. But if the people that have been caught up start talking to authorities, the tentacles and reach of this case will continue to grow. The Duke basketball team wore T-shirts that read equality during warm-ups against reigning Division II national champions Northwest Missouri State. Mike Krzyzewski has, in the past, been critical politically, speaking out against North Carolina's bathroom bill in 2016. There's a lot of mixed messages about standing before the game. All of our guys want to stand, head coach Mike Krzyzewski said after the game. We wanted to make sure that the equality shirt stood for one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's what our program and our school is about. That's what we want our country to be. That's why we stand in reverence to the men and women who served our country, protected those rights. But also, for every race, every gender, every religion. That's what our country is about. We wanted to initially let everyone know, when we stand, that's what we stand for. We don't have to wear it all the time, but tonight we did because it's the first time this group stood together. Duke is the preseason #1 team in the country. Nashville, Tennessee. AP, Missouri forward Michael Porter Jr. has yet to play his first college game, and he's already making it clear he has very high expectations both for himself and the Tigers. It's one reason why he chose Missouri. I always kind of wanted to be the type of player that could go to a school that could make a difference, Porter said Wednesday at the Southeastern Conference Men's Basketball Media Day. I didn't want to go to a Kansas or a Kentucky where I could be just another great player. I wanted to go to a school where I could make a difference and leave a legacy. And it didn't hurt the Tigers' chances of signing him after his dad landed on the Missouri staff. There are also strong family ties in Columbia. Porter's first college choice was Washington until coach Lorenzo Romar was fired earlier this year. Then the nation's top recruit, according to Rivals, decided to go back to Columbia, Missouri, when coach Cuonzo Martin hired Porter's father as an assistant coach. The 6'10" forward also will be playing with his younger brother Jonte. It'll be a family affair that should make his transition to college feel like going home. I know campus like the back of my hand, and my family's all there, so it really felt like home, Porter said. And it made it really, really easy, and my family's going to be there. I don't know how kids go off to college and don't see their mom and dad for so long. That'd be really hard for me. That helps with Porter famous enough already that people stop to stare at while shopping for groceries or walking to class. It's why Porter turned off his social media accounts believing he receives enough attention already. Not only is he being coached by his father and playing with his brother, Porter's 2 sisters are playing for Missouri's women's basketball team. Bree is a senior forward, while Sierra is a junior. His aunt, Robin Pingetton, coaches the Missouri women's hoops team. Martin said Porter also is a low-maintenance player. Mike's not a guy that's out and about all over the place, Martin said. I think Mike's a guy who's always in a gym. He's at home with his family. He's in the classroom, so he's not a guy that's all over the place and you kind of have to hover around every 5 minutes. Porter led his high school team to state titles in each of his last 2 years and was named the Gatorade National Player of the Year. He also is the 6th McDonald's All-American to sign with Missouri, but first since 2000. He's long and fast and skilled, got tremendous feel, IQ, Florida coach Mike White said. He's going to be a really good player. So good that Porter shared preseason Player of the Year honors with Georgia senior Yente Maughton and Texas A&M sophomore Robert Williams. Missouri junior Kevin Puryear compares Porter to Kevin Durant with his ability to shoot over anybody. He just makes it look so easy, Puryear said. Double teams, triple teams, he's shooting over the top of it. Just making it effortless sometimes. It's frustrating to guard him. I'm not going to play anybody like Michael the whole year, so I'm getting better definitely playing against him. Porter also wants to make it clear that he is not automatically heading to the NBA after this season. He said it's important for him to leave a legacy at Missouri and help revive a program that went 824 last season and hasn't qualified for the NCAA tournament since 2013. Everybody thinks I'm not serious when I say that, but I actually might spend more than 1 year in college, Porter said. Well, maybe not if the Tigers are as good as Porter believes they will be. Well, surprise a lot of people, Porter said. Follow Teresa M. Walker on Twitter at Teresa M. Walker Morgantown, WVA. AP, West Virginia opponents, take note. Mountaineers coach Bob Huggins isn't sure whether his tenacious pressure defense will be on full display this season. The Mountaineers' depleted roster might be unable to harass opposing offenses for an entire 40 minutes without wearing down. So Huggins is going to pick and choose his battles. Oh, press Virginia is still going to happen. Maybe just not as often. We might be better served to do something else, Huggins said. We're going to keep doing it and see. I'm more convinced we can't than we can right now. We kind of play so hard. In reaching the NCAA tournament's regional semifinals last season, West Virginia led the nation with 10 steals and 20 forced turnovers forced per game, and in turnover margin at 7.7 per game. Besides the loss to graduation of top rebounder Nathan Adrian and top bench scorer Tariq Phillip, Jr., forward Yesai Ahmad has been ruled ineligible for the first half of the season after failing to meet NCAA requirements. In May, forward Elijah Macon said he wouldn't return for his final season to pursue a pro basketball career. And Huggins said freshman forward Brendan Napper won't play this season after undergoing knee surgery. That leaves just 11 other players on the roster, and only 4 who averaged more than 10 minutes per game. Besides Ahmad, the other forwards have a combined 1 start. Our 5 inside guys are all sophomores, Huggins said. Somehow we've got to get a couple of them anyways a little ahead of the curve. Shouldering much of the load will be senior guard Javon Carter, the team's top returning scorer at 13.5 points per game and the reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year after leading the league in steals. Carter is more confident than Huggins is in maintaining the Mountaineers' pressure defense. I think the press is going to be as effective as it's been, Carter said. Some other things to know about West Virginia as it goes after a 9th NCAA tournament appearance in Huggins' 11 seasons. Carter said there's little he hasn't worked on in the off-season. He put a lot of attention on his defense and finishing plays around the rim. We're young, got a lot of new guys, Carter said. We definitely need my leadership, now more than ever. Carter and backcourt mate Dexter Miles Jr. are the only seniors on the roster. JC's playing at a really high level right now, Huggins said. I think his ball skills are much better. Veteran help guard James Beetle Bolden and forward Lamont West showed scoring bursts a year ago. Bolden had a career-high 17 points in 10 minutes against Oklahoma and 8 points in 5 minutes at Iowa State. West scored in double figures 7 times, including a career-high 23 points against Texas. Newcomers Huggins said he is happy in general so far with a pair of junior college transfers, 68 Wesley Harris and 66 D'Angelo Hunter. The coach said 65 freshman Teddy Allen has some toughness and might be the most improved player in practice. Canada scorer forward Sigaba Kanate was 4th in the Big 12 with 53 blocked shots, a school record for a freshman. Huggins said Kanate has worked hard on his jump shot enough that the coach plans to run some offensive plays with him. He's playing with so much confidence, Huggins said. NONCONFERENCE tests the Mountaineers open the season November 10th against Texas A&M in Ramstein-Miesenbach, Germany. Huggins said he likes the exposure the game will bring and its location on a U.S. air base. To play before our troops is a no-brainer, he said. West Virginia will play Virginia December 5th and Kentucky January 27th at home and renew its backyard brawl rivalry at Pittsburgh on December 9th.